have you and Leo's. Well, Leo being Leo. We'll just say that. It's Leo being Leo. And the dogs, who are weird. And the cats, who are never around. And the guinea pigs. Because everybody needs guinea pigs. Plus it saves on gas. And God knows we all, can appreciate the need to save gas these days. So, alright, now that I've had my little personal woohoo moment thingy, and I want to talk, again, now we're going to go talk about this government thing. So, like I said, I was calling it, like, the war on transgenders, because it just seems to be, like what it's boiled down to. And, don't get me wrong, the government has to have an enemy. I mean, they can't be their own enemy. It's always Republicans versus Democrats. It's always them versus us, or this, that, and the other thing. But the government as a whole, when they try and prove bipartisanism, when they try and prove that they can work together on something, this is where it's like the LGBTQ community turns into the easy villain or the easy target. For a while it was same-sex marriage. For a while it was abortion. Then it was Black Lives Matter, and then it was this, and then it was that. And now we're on to, that's right, the anti-LGBTQ stuff. Whether it's, I don't even remember how many states it is now. How many states that have these laws that or bills that they're attempting to pass that will ban transgender children from participating in sports. And it's not transgender children so much as it's transgender women, transgender girls. And Pennsylvania is one of them. And I kind of want to call, the representatives out. And I just might. So here in PA, and this happened last month, the House of Representatives passed a bill, and I forget the bill number, and I apologize, that would ban transgender females from participating in sports participating in girl sports. This was for middle and high school students. This was not elementary. This was not college level. This was public school, teenager-ish kids. And all but one Republican voted for it. And I have a friend of my stepdad, a friend of, I should say, my stepdad who has passed away, my rest in peace, Pop. He voted for it. And part of me wanted to call him and go, why? Why did you vote for this? And I still haven't gotten the nerve to do that one, which is funny. But the thing of it is, and part of me wants to go, I'm sure there's another bill attached. There's always these bills attached. He may not have agreed with this one, but he needed that one. And that's kind of how the game works. And I understand that. But this is not a game that needs to be played with children's futures. And then there's the other thing. Well, okay, so we're protecting female sports from male, you can't see the air quotes, but male intrusion. But there's never any question about a female to male transgender crossing over into male sports. Never. There's no bills that say that a transgender man can't play a sport, or a transgender boy can't play a sport. If Kai wanted to play high school football tomorrow, well, all right, let's say last year, because she's a senior, but if she wanted to play it, no one would tell her no. If Leo wanted to play it, no one would tell him no. But, if the child across the street who was born with biological male parts decided that they were transgender and suddenly wanted to go out for the girls' softball team, well, no, we can't have that. Because that might take away from a young lady's opportunity. And that might take away from a young lady's chances of getting into the college of her dreams. But, biological boys can play sports with transgender boys because those transgender boys are inferior. They don't stand a chance against those biological boys because there's no way that they could possibly be any better. So we don't have to worry about their biological kids getting scholarships taken away from them, getting their opportunities taken away from them. No. That's not going to happen because they're inferior, or we're inferior, and so they don't question that. And it's such a maniacal mentality. But if you think about it, that's exactly what happens. We have to protect our beautiful baby girls, our born biologically baby girls, from these evil transgenders who are sneaking into their bathrooms to do nefarious things, okay? Who are sneaking into their sports because they're not good enough in their own sports. Who are putting on makeup and doing ungodly... I feel like I'm like a Southern Baptist preacher in it down. Godly things. We have to worry about them. We don't have to worry about a transgender boy who wants to put on pads and play a sport. We don't have to worry about a transgender boy going into the boys' room. We're not protecting men from, deviant girls who would want to look at deviant transgender boys who might want to spy on a little boy's what. No, we would never. We're not questioning that part. We're only protecting our little girls. Because our little biological girls, they are so sweet and innocent that they need our protection. Oh, for the love of great googly muggly. I'm like ready to gag on this crap. I mean, like, legitimately. Let the kids play the damn game. You know what? If we can put biological female and transgender female, and we can put astronauts in space, and they can be whatever they want, whether it's biological, transgender, I should say cisgender. I'm not even going to say biological anymore. Cisgender or transgender. They can be astronauts. They can be policemen. They can be firemen. They can be everything and anything that they want to be. They can be athletes. They can be... I'm sorry. There's something on my fingers driving me nuts. Squirrel. It was a squirrel moment, I swear. They can... Okay. Clearly, my mouth is running away with my brain because my brain literally went, I forgot what I was saying, and my mouth was still going. We have to get past this. And I know, because most of the people who listen to this are transgender, so you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. We all gotta agree on this. That cisgender politicians have got to get it out of their head that their cisgender children, their cisgender female children, are somehow a weaker sex. They're somehow not capable of beating a transgender child. Of not to say beating, but competing against. Competing. A healthy competition. When both my children were girls, or both my children identified as girls and I identified as a woman, I spent more time telling my kids that they could be whatever they wanted to be, that it didn't matter what was in their pants or whether they needed a cup or not, even though Leo wore one. That a girl, a cisgender girl, was the equal to her cisgender male counterpart. Why? Why is it that we can't seem to beat that in? Because why is it suddenly that a cisgender girl is inferior to a transgender girl? Because let's face it, the only reason that a law would have to be created to protect a cisgender student in a sport from an quote-unquote unfair advantage is if cisgender girls are not equal to their transgender counterparts. That's the only reason, right? And we can't we would have to admit that. And if these Republicans, I didn't want to say that, and I keep going back to this PA law where all but one of these Republicans voted for this. If these politicians are, that's pretty much what they're doing. They're pretty much saying that their cisgender children cannot compete against transgenders, their transgender counterparts, because they present an unfair advantage, or they have a different bone structure, different body structure, different muscle structure. But in the same breath, well, women can do whatever men can do. Women are just the same as men. Hell, in some cases, women are better than men. All right? Unless it's a transgender. I'm just saying. That's how it presents itself, right? I'm gonna... I apologize. I truly, truly apologize for sounding like some Southern Baptist preacher there for a while. But that's how it feels. It literally feels like you just want to go, but it's this, but it's that, but it's, well, then they must be equal, right? If a transgender individual is superior to a cisgender individual, that would make sense. I can completely understand why people would be afraid. Think about it. We would have to have our own Olympics because, we couldn't compete against regular people, could we? Maybe that's the new thing. I'm just going to start saying that transgenders are like meta-human. Transgenders are superhumans. Ooh, Leo! What do you think? What? Transgenders, superhumans. That's why there's all these anti-trans laws, because we are superior to cisgender individuals. Well, we are. And therefore we are meta-humans. See? Leo agrees. Ha! Leo says, quote unquote, that transgender individuals are gods and cisgender people need to bow before us. And that is why he is not on the podcast anymore. He doesn't have a God complex. He has to believe in God before he can have one. And since he doesn't believe in God, he can't have a God complex. I think he just has a superiority complex with a little inferiority issues.
Not a God complex. I believe I am God. It's just facts.
Don't you have a friend who goes by the screen name God?
Yes, and he's good friends with a Satanist.
Yeah, we won't go there. So... the thing is, and this is where, again, we go back to this, where, we're talking about companies like, Disney, who are standing up, but perhaps not standing up as much. One of Disney's heirs actually came out publicly as transgender. This happened 2 weeks ago. And I believe it was, the last name is Corra. Corra, who I think is a teacher, and is actually like the stepchild of Roy Disney, and Roy happens to be like the great-great-grandson of the original Roy Disney, who was co-founder of Walt Disney with Walt. But anyway, came out as publicly as transgender. Condoning, of course, all the anti-LGBTQ laws. And, now Florida governor is like, oh yeah, well, we're just going to revoke